You know where you should be trading? You should be trading on PrimeXBT, the sponsors of these streams. See the logo in the corner there. PrimeXBT, use my referral link in the description of this video. Type in code MAIN50 before you deposit any money to get a 7% deposit bonus. That's even more shekels that you can recklessly gamble on high leverage because you don't know what you're doing. So yeah, PrimeXBT, that's where you should be trading. There's no KYC. I think it's like $25,000 or $20,000 a day withdrawals with no KYC. You can trade gold, S&P 500, crypto, all that, Forex pairs, all with crypto as collateral. They support me by sponsoring these videos, so that's where you should be trading, my friend. What an ad read. Oh my goodness. Shout out to the PrimeXBT team. Thank you for the continued support. So Bitcoin, we had the big rally. The I told you so rally is what we're going to call it, because I did tell you so. I told you why we wanted to be bullish here. I told you why we got long based on this sweep. I told you why we were targeting 33 to 36K, this weekly fair value gap. That's exactly where price got capped here. We nailed all of that. I'm still holding my ETH long, 50% of it. We took this ETH long. This was a very basic setup. H12 sweep, H1 trigger, ripped. I closed half on the initial pump. We're still holding 50%. Now, BTC is into an area that could be resistance. Now, Donald, for example, tweeted the other day. He said, we're back above his key level. He used one of these levels and he basically said, we're back above my key resistance. He has no other resistance till 60K. And maybe he is correct. For me, this is an area where price could find resistance. It's not necessarily meaning that this is the top, but this is an area for my system that I believe could act as resistance. So regardless of what Donald says, even though I think he's a great trader and he's been nailing this shit, I'm following my system. I'm not letting what other people say influence me. So to me, based on the weekly, this is an area that could provide resistance. It's already proving to do that with the first wick getting stopped there. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to fucking nuke to zero from here, but it could pull back into here. And then maybe it goes up, and then maybe this becomes support. Maybe it has a very sharp pullback and we run these kind of lows here, and then we get another leg up. Anything could happen. All I'm saying is this is an area where I'm looking for signs of potential resistance, just like here, I'm looking for signs of potential support, which we got in the form of these two sweeps and the market structure break. That's all it is, level to level to level. So we're in this area of resistance. So the first trade that I took was very simple. If this is super bullish and we're just going to continue to trade higher, these kind of retests, so you have your order block here at the base of the consolidation, these kind of retests should hold. Like if we're really bullish, I don't think we should sweep down to these lows. Maybe we go down to here. That would be a different type of trade. I'd have to see some sort of price action down here to get back in on. But if we're really bullish, I don't think we should lose this box here. I don't think we should lose this. So my first trade that I took was based on the H12. We swept into the zone, bing. So I just started filling long. Very simple. Started longing based on the H12 sweep and the H1 order block here. We ran all these lows out and I didn't get full size. So I entered half size here and I left room for if we ran these lows down here that didn't quite get run. So that would have been where I doubled up. Did not come that deep. We pushed up, and now what do we have? An H12 sweep, which was the initial long, okay? And then we have this H12 breaker here, up candle before the down move that took out lows, and then we broke market structure on this candle here. So then on the hourly, you can see we have our up candle for the down move. We broke market structure right there, came back into it, another couple sweeps. So I longed again and I posted this on Telegram. Stop entry target, no BS, no hindsight when I took it. So we got a little bit of a pop and we're just kind of consolidating here. So I'm just chilling right now. These are the two positions I'm in on BTC. If it's going to go up, I think another leg up from here makes sense. Otherwise, I think we correct probably much deeper, potentially back sub 32K. And then I'm looking at the H12 and I'm saying, okay, maybe we're going to come in and fill some of this fair value gap here. And we're going to retest that old MSB level. So maybe we're going to retest this wick and the MSB level confluent with this fair value gap. And that would be a new trade. But if we're really bullish and this is really strong, based on my analysis here, I think this is where it should go up from. My risk is very clearly defined. My targets are very clearly defined. A new high, This one's just 2R, nothing crazy. That's it. I'm not over trading. I'm not forcing myself to get chopped up to bits. I'm taking trades that are clear with my system. I'm taking trades that have defined risk. I'm taking trades in line with the high time frame trend, and I'm not risking more than I'm willing to lose. I'm chilling, I'm comfy, I'm cozy, I'm not stressed out. I'm not chasing around altcoins and all sorts of bullshit. I'm relaxed, I'm moisturized, I'm in my lane, I'm flourishing. So that's the plan for BTC. I'm gonna ride these longs out, and I'm gonna see if we get another pop up. Maybe we fade if we get some sort of ugly reaction up here. But to me, I don't see any reason to be bearish high time frame on Bitcoin. We're filling in this inefficiency. We've got a low, a high, a higher low, market structure break, another higher high on the monthly. You know, it looks good to me, high time frame. Even if we get a major dip, right? So even if we get a very strong dip into like here, I would still look for reasons to long and just assume that this is just a higher low. Now, there's one bearish scenario that I see, and this is purely an ICT type of setup. I've seen a few people post about it. I'm going to make you aware of it. This is not a trade I'm taking, but it's something I'm watching for. And if it happens, and I'll be prepared for it. Now, we have a weekly fair value gap here. So when price was consolidating here, we took out liquidity here. Then we took out liquidity to the upside right here and here, form of equal highs. And we came into a high time frame PD array, a fair value gap on the weekly. Now we are also within an area of premium in the price range. So if this was your range, we are above the 50%. So we're in the premium. So if you're trading purely ICT, there's an argument to be made that we've now seeked out all of the buy side liquidity. So buy side liquidity is above price, sell side liquidity is below price. What does that mean? So buy side liquidity is what? If I'm short the market, okay, I short this breakdown and I put my stop up here. What type of liquidity is this, right? How would I get out of a short position, right? I would have a buy stop, because if I'm short, how do I close the short? You have to buy back. So buy side liquidity is above the market. Now, if the inverse is happening, if you're long based on this breakout and your stop is here, how do you close out a long order? With a sell order. So this would be sell side liquidity. So a lot of people get confused. Here's the easiest way to remember the difference between buy side and sell side. So it's the inverse of what you'd think. You would assume buy side is below, sell side is above. It's just the opposite. So think of it how I just explained it there. How do you get out of the position you're in? If you're in a short, you need to have a buy stop. Therefore, your liquidity is buy side liquidity, right? If you're in a long and you need to get out of that long, you have a sell stop. So your liquidity is sell side liquidity. So the idea here is that we have run the buy side liquidity here in the premium, because when price goes up and takes out those shorts, it fuels more buying, because those stops trigger at the market as buys. That's when you see those big liquidity spikes, those big purges. Those are buy stops getting triggered, causing price to trade even higher. And if I'm long from down here, how do I want to get out of my trade, right? If I'm in 10 Bitcoin long from here, how am I going to get out? I need sells. So if you're in a long, your stop is a sell, but your TP is also a sell. So I'm selling into that buy side liquidity. That's how it works. So if you're ever confused when you hear people talking about buy side, sell side, order pairing, this is what they're talking about here. So when you're in a long from down here, what are you seeking? You are seeking buy orders to sell into. And maybe that's to close out a long position, or maybe that's to get short into. So in SFP, if you have a high here, what's sitting here? Buy side. If I want a short, guess what? I want buy side to get triggered and push price up, and I want to sell into that buy side, and I want to get short. Okay, so when you see the ICT and the price action guys, the smart money concept guys talking about all this types of shit, they're just trying to make it sound complicated and fancy. It's not that complicated. This is what they're talking about, okay? So the ICT setup here, and the reason I'm not 100% sure whether or not this will happen is because crypto moves a little different than the rest of the markets, but effectively we've purged the buy side in the premium. Now we have a new price leg, and in the discount here, you have relatively equal lows. you have sell side liquidity here. So there's an argument to be made that price will distribute here and then target those lows. And it very well could happen. I personally am going to trust the trend and continue to play the trend for the time being. If we see signs of distribution up here, so we see highs get taken and then the lows that make those highs get broken. If we see that kind of price action here, then by all means, I might take some short exposure to hedge. But for the most part, I'm in the camp that the trend is still up and I'm going to continue to play the trend until proven otherwise. So for now, I'm in those longs that I just showed you. And unless we get some sort of major signs of distribution up here, I'm going to stay long bias. Now, if we get distribution here, I might take a short and I would target down into those lows. But for now, I'm going to stick to Team Bull. It's just more fun. Do you think coin will have a pullback into the mid 60s to take sell side? I think it depends on what equities do. I do think equities are priming to maybe go higher, but I am a buyer on coin all the way down to about 60. So into this breaker here, I'll buy all the way down into here if it comes, but I'm out if we lose here. Like I'm out. My idea was wrong. So yeah, I'm long already some, and I think we can double up here, but it could come down to 10, 20% first. But if Bitcoin's going to trade higher, coin is going to trade higher, right? This obviously has, an effect because the stock market's been taking a beating. So equities have been getting smashed. Oh, I just gave you guys a free trade. You're fucking welcome. But equities have been getting smashed. So I posted this right at the top, right? We had the MSB here. I said short it. We had another MSB. I said bounce up into here, short it again. It came just shy of where I wanted to short. Didn't quite come tang the order block. Nuked again, but now we're into weekly support. So to me, looking at the monthly here, you've got kind of this monthly SR here, right? Capping price for basically a year plus, flipped it, big push, and now we're retesting. So to me, this is a large area of potential support. And then you go down to the weekly, we have our order block here. So I took a long based just on the weekly for a fresh high, because if we're going to make a higher low, it probably happens around here. So I took a long on equities here. This is obviously a major swing trade because this is based off the monthly and the weekly. So this could take ages to play out. But if this is able to get going, that's good overall for crypto. That's good overall for coin. Man, are you concerned about coin not doing better with BTC moving? Not concerned at all. Again, I think coin, obviously, as much as it's tied to Bitcoin, it's also tied to the equities market as a whole, which has been getting smoked. So if this is able to rally, I think coin will do very well. So FBTC, I mean, just horrific. Looks awful. Still just no sniff of a bid whatsoever. It looks like it wants to take out this low. I mean, this seems like, based on the monthly, where the potential reversal would form. Like, it seems very unlikely that it won't at least run this low just based on how it's looking. Maybe it doesn't, but that's just the logical area. Run that low. And then this would maybe be a time to position, into Ethereum and other altcoins that have been getting smoked, is when this thing finally catches a bid. The only reason I'm long I'm long Bitcoin as well, and I own spot, but the reason I'm long ETH here, levered from the lows, is this is just the setup that I had. Obviously, in an ideal world, and this was super clean, H12 sweep into demand, H1 market structure break, retest, stop at the low, and this thing just flew over 10R. So in an ideal world, you're always going along the highest beta play, right? So let's say Bitcoin goes up 20% and Ethereum goes up 15. In an ideal world, you long Bitcoin. Solana went up way more than fucking Bitcoin and Ethereum, and Link went up a bunch, and blah, blah, blah. There's always going to be a coin or a asset or a stock or whatever that outperforms the one that you're in, right? That's always going to be the case. You're very rarely going to play the most aggressive mover. Sometimes you will, but for the most part, you probably won't. For the most part, you're going to trade Bitcoin and Ethereum's going to outperform, or you're going to trade Ethereum and Solana's going to outperform. At some point, you have to learn that it's not necessarily about just trying to catch the biggest mover. It's about catching the one where your setup is the most clear. So when we had this setup here at the lows, the setup for me in terms of risk reward and the way the setup looked and my ability to identify it, because it's meaningless if you can't see a trade, was Ethereum. Did Ethereum get outperformed by Bitcoin on this most recent move? Yes, it did. So Ethereum went from here to here, 18%, right? Whereas Bitcoin went up 10% more. But the setup I was able to identify, set my risk, get into, that was the most clear to me was Ethereum. And that's all that matters. It's not always about playing the highest beta play, the one that's going to go up the most. It's about the trade that you see the easiest. Now, these are two separate concepts here. From a trading perspective, the setup that is the most clear is the one you want to take, because at the end of the day, if you took a 5-hour trade on Bitcoin and I took a 5-hour trade on Ethereum, the money is the same, right? It's just R. It's just whatever your risk, and then there's the potential reward. The actual percent that the asset goes up is irrelevant. That's why someone can take a 10-hour trade on the 1-minute chart, makes the same as me taking a 10-hour trade on the fucking hourly chart. If our risk is the same, our reward is the same. Doesn't matter if the assets are different or the time frames are different. Now, when it comes to spot, obviously you want to try and be in the coin that is going to go up the most, because spot is a little bit different, right? It's not necessarily just about RR. You want the biggest percent gainer. So Ethereum, I'm still long, still not convinced that this is bottom. Maybe it's bottomed here. I mean, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 red weekly candles in a row. Maybe it gets a bit of a bounce. This seems like it wants to take out this low. We have monthly demand there. If that happens, maybe we get some catch up finally on Ethereum, but it's not been looking good. I'm holding 50% of this leverage long because I'm long Bitcoin. And if I think Bitcoin's going to break out, then Ethereum's going to go higher too. Maybe it won't go up as much as Bitcoin, but I'm still holding 50% of this levered position because I do think, based on how high Bitcoin is pumped, I do think Ethereum can trade up to, 2K again if Ethereum BTC can catch a bid. Now, Solana. Where were all the Solana bulls? Down here. If you've been watching my streams, guys, we posted this exact setup at the fucking low. Monthly sweep into monthly demand. I said Solana looks really good down here. Then we had the weekly breaker, retested, another leg up. So we had the monthly SFP into monthly demand. You now have a weekly breaker right here that gets retested. Stop goes there. You pull your fib from here to here. This is the OTE right there. I don't even need it to see it. I just know. Right in the fucking OTE. Okay, baby? Don't fuck with me. And what did I post right here? At $22 Solana. I said, this is a big level right here. I said, if we get through this level, we're trading to here. We're trading a 40. These equal highs at the very least. Posted that the start of October. Now, obviously, I would have liked to get some sort of retest here after the breakout along, but it just didn't happen. Decided to just go up fucking with 3 straight ginormous Chadley candles. Regardless, this is the target here for Sol. I think $40 to 42 into this order block. That's the target. Then probably some sort of correction. Why did Sol do good and your altcoin didn't? Why did Sol go up and your altcoin did? Because this is what Sol looks like versus Ethereum. And this is what Sol looks like versus BTC. Remember, I drew this out too. I said, this looks very good versus Bitcoin. What does your altcoin look like versus BTC versus Ethereum? Does it look like this? Because if it doesn't, you're in the wrong coin, son. In the wrong coin. I've been leading you guys through the darkness. I got you guys long before these guys even knew they were bulls. Where were y'all then? Unless you got a better entry than me at $6 with size, because I'll show you mine. I am the captain now. Look at me. I am the Link Marine. It's Halloween. It seems so spooky to me. And naturally, I had to get on my Halloween costume. We're a bottle of sriracha. Because you know your boy Maine is about to fucking squirt some of his hot sauce, his hot alpha sauce, all over your goddamn face. It's unbelievable. This guy says, whoa, a talking ketchup bottle. I'm sriracha. Just keep that in mind, guys. Do your own research. Make your own analysis. Make your own decisions. Do not listen to people dressed up as sriracha bottles on the internet. I would like you to find one single BitBoy video that has more alpha than any of my random fucking streams. Try and find one. It doesn't exist. He's fucking an idiot. Like, you just listen to him talk. It's like, this is not a smart person. Is he just a huge piece of shit? Or do you just respect the level of degeneracy? Because it's insane. I am not a LARP. You know what the first thing a LARP says is? They say, I am not a LARP. Have none of you guys had sriracha before? It's a greasy grind, but sometimes you gotta respect it. Talk to your boy nicely. Obnoxious. Live. I'm tired of the disrespect. $1 million in Canada money is like 500K USD. You're not very good at math, are you? You're gonna have to make it worth my while, boys. You little fuckers. You little sons of bitches. And I hate them all. Fuck those kids. The winning Ed says, you are pure ego, man. So I might be pure ego, but you're pure idiot. Fucking dummy. The winning edge. I guarantee you're losing money. Guaranteed. Do you believe that we will see 40K Bitcoin this month? Well, seeing as it is October 31st and the month ends in about an hour, I'm gonna say no.